Hey Pavel, welcome to our daily frontline challenges series, in which we discuss daily challenges or something cool that we found in our work, something that we had to solve, and so on. All right.
Hi, good to see you. I have a couple of ideas, but it's still very much work in progress. It's not near the end, but yeah, I can share some stuff that I prepared. Yeah, as we discussed, let's just walk through triple whale. Um, all the agents are loaded now because I started a couple of them just 30 minutes ago, so we'll see.
That's a pretty new feature by Triple Whale, right?
Yes, but it's very promising. It seems to me that it can already do a work of creating the dashboards and it works instantly. It's connected to both Shopify and all the channels. It has its own pixel. It also allows us to push the server's data for some of the channels via triple wave sonar. So it has really good numbers. For some reason, it doesn't allow me to get the Amazon data, but that's probably something that can be figured out
In the future.
Yeah. Okay, so let me share my screen. Agents allow us to automate any kind of work related to dashboards, insights, or any similar sort of thing. So first of all, you can use their templates, which they have quite a lot of. They are divided into topics. There are specific templates for media buyers, CRO specialists, retention marketers, etc. There are lots of things here. Some channel related, like for Meta, but there are also some agents for Google and for Amazon, which doesn't work for me yet. I'm optimistic still. And for TikTok, and you can create any kind of agent you want. So, for example, you could ask any kind of those questions.
First one is detect anomalies, looking at all channels spend and efficiency, last versus the day before, last 3 days versus 3 days before, and last 7 versus 7 days before. I get it. So you just want to look for anomalies in the first one.
Yeah, and it's still actually that one is not ready yet. It's still for some reason stuck in the SQL query. But one of the agents that I created myself is just a creative dashboard. It is work in progress, but it's already pretty cool as far as I understand. So it's looking at all the paid social channels, and from here it has a task to highlight the ads that are improving in the last 7 days and those who are declining, suggest which ads we should scale and which we should turn off, look at clicks and views attribution and first click attribution, and then prepare the dashboard in a way that makes creatives clearly visible so that you can present them during meetings, and also add links to each creative because that's a thing that often it's just needed. So basically the dashboard is here, and here you have the prompts and the recording of the work that was done by the agent.
That's awesome. So he extracted all of the ads, the spend, and then he created a dashboard on the right that could be published and presented during a meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So it selected 6 ads that we could scale and then 3 ads that we should turn off. So it shows us the performing creatives and then also the declining creatives. And then I don't know why, but it's also showing channel reported value and then triple attribution value and then attribution coverage, which is pretty interesting. But I don't know what to do with that yet. So I actually didn't make it an agent yet. I think it still needs a bit. So I can just click here and create an agent, and then anyone on the team can just jump into the triple panel and just run this agent or maybe modify it a bit. But I think it still needs a bit of modification.
So when you create an agent, it means that it will refresh from time to time and just send you a report, just populate the report from time to time.
Yeah, so basically it may mean whatever we want it to mean. So we can automate it via emails, via Slack. We can set this up to run every work day before we begin our work, or maybe just every day, or maybe once a week. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. You can also send it to Slack in an automated way so that everyone on the specific channel can see. But I think there are a couple of things to correct here still. So, for example, I would really like those images to be just bigger. because it's not super clear. I mean, it's clear for me what this is because I know those ads because I set them up by myself. But if you don't know the account, then you will have no clue this ad about. So I think obviously you can just direct yourself to the, so it actually shows it. So I thought it's going to redirect me to the Meta Ads Manager, but that's even better. This one doesn't work because it's dynamic ad, but it also should probably show you the full name of the ad because without it, you don't really know. You don't have a way to know. So there are a couple of things still to be improved here. So I don't want to create an agent just yet.
And what about the attribution settings? Because we know that Triple Whale's superpower is the attribution clarity, let's call it like that, or maybe full clarity, because it's still some kind of conversion modeling that Triple Whale can do for us. But the best feature that I've seen in Triple Whale was the easy switch between first, last, or Triple Whale AI attribution. Can you also build that in that dashboard potentially?
Yeah. So right now I just asked it to look at two different attributes, but easily we can just correct that. So let's allow me to see the data with different attributions, post the names next to the ad, please. It's always nice to say please. Yeah, and now it works, so it will probably take a bit time.
It's essentially something very similar to AI builders like Lovable, V0, Boltino, but this is for reporting. Since Triple Whale has this very unique and it has its own data model that combines all of the attributions and all of the channels into one single data source. As a source of truth. Yeah, when you combine these two features of being able to build and code actually on the fly, as you can see, you code here, coding and writing queries, SQL queries to the database, the output is extremely powerful. You don't need to build a data warehouse, data pipelines that have to blend all this data.
Yeah, so it's exactly like you said. I mean, it's because of the quality of the data it has, because it's connected to all the channels, to Shopify. I mean, it's really amazing, although I don't think it actually corrected what I asked it to correct. So I will still probably need to work a bit more.
It's the same as with the web builders. You have to just continue prompting until you get what you want. And sometimes it takes quite a lot of time to get what you want.
Yes, and it even says that it can make mistakes. Please double check this process. So, but it's still working.
What we see here, in my opinion, is a path to absolutely new reality in which conversational AI reporting or dashboards can be built on the fly using one data model, one unified data model. That is something that a lot of companies in the past wanted to achieve. And right now, what I'm seeing, at least here, is actually that they are trying to turn it into reality. That's really impressive, in my opinion. And probably will save agencies, consultants, strategists. We are talking about hundreds of hours of work.
Absolutely. I think it
per project, not for the whole agency, but like probably full, like the people that used to focus only on analytics and data, engineering will be able to focus on something else, maybe on issues more closely related to business questions, less to the data and engineering questions.
Yeah, and it's just a beginning, so it will only get better from here. But also I wanted to show you another thing, because basically dashboarding is one thing, and there's still work to be done to finalize our dashboards, as you just see. But it also allows you to gain insights from the creatives, but also from creative performance, but also from other stuff. I looked at one of the creative agents, actually, so one of them.
Something that comes to my mind when I see this dashboard is the same problem that we had in the past with ChatGPT. A lot of possibilities, a lot of, endless questions you can ask. But the biggest problem is that when you finally open up the tab, you don't know what kind of questions you want to ask. And those suggestions that you show me, that you can have different agents in different specialties. And in each specialty, there are some pre-saved prompts that you could try and start conversations that are tested and validated. That's extremely important to have, because human mind has to have some time to wander around, ask questions, and just basically open up different tabs and see what's going on to basically collect some insights and ideas what to do next.
This ability to just see the different teams that work across the creative, to look at different creative parts, to look at hooks, to look at time-stop ratio, to just gain insights from that in an automatic way, so you can have that ready on your desk at the time when you are starting your work day. That's pretty amazing, and this for sure will make life easier for people like us. So, for example, this is pretty basic agents, like modify that as much as you want, but it's looking at the last 7 days versus previous 7 days, and it sees what messaging type is dominating, what catchphrases are working best. It even looked at influencer content separately, specific ads, really amazing. And you can tailor that as much as you want. So that's pretty cool. You can see the high performing ads. Then you can look at declining ads, promising ads, key insights. So you can see like CTR by category, then ROAS by ad type.
Was the report built by an agent, or is it like pre-built report?
So this one here, I think it's an agent. So it's pre-built.
Okay, cool. It's really impressive. The work that was done by meta ads or ad creative experts, identifying ads that have potential, that have diminishing returns happening or are declining, and they need to rotate some specific ads, so different new ads being produced. Like it all identifies based on the data and already filters creatives by specific type and category. So yeah, it saves a lot of time, but at the same time, it takes a lot of work. So it is kind of scary to some extent, because maybe at one point it's going to be just CMO or strategies that will be able to run all of it.
I don't know. If you look at this closely, you can still see that it says, for example, ROAS increased with CTR improving by 71%, but it's actually ROAS that improved to the 3.07. So I think it will always make some mistakes, or maybe it will not understand correctly some of the queries, always, even in 5 to 10 years.
It hallucinates today, but maybe in the future it won't hallucinate anymore. Right now, yes, you have to have a human in the loop. That's someone that will check all of it, interpret the results, but maybe it's going to be good enough to trust it fully in the future, and you won't need a person that double check results. That's also a possibility.
The level of skill that you will have to work within the agency to work with those AIs will be higher than it is now. So, for example, there will probably be no need for junior level people. So junior level will be our, let's say, mid-level. And then on the other hand, I think that CMOs and executive level people will always need a good strategist and a person that understands the data, asks all the right questions, and gain insights and can validate the effects of those prompts. So I think, yeah, this goes both ways. I think people still will need to do this. Will need to work with that. So CMOs will not be able to work on their own unless maybe some specific people will be able to do that. But for sure, this will not be the standard. At least I don't believe it. But then, the amount of people that work in agencies will be, I think, limited. And there will be no need really for people with junior level skills, because those AI will be faster and just will do it better.
Right now, that if you rely on, let's say, the previous tech stack, I believe that what you needed is one person for data, one person for creative, one person for meta, one person for search, SEO, and that's a lot already. Plus a strategist, someone that will spin it all together, plus making sure that the workflow, the project manager, and I don't know, that's the minimum. And from what I'm seeing right now, potentially it's possible to cut the number of people by half, and the same number of people will be able to cover more projects. And it is hard to find talent when you have a situation in which you have like really three really talented people. They will be able to cover more projects. So I think that it's a win for very talented people, and it's a challenge for people that were specialists. You have to become more strategists, generalists, less of a specialist. That's something that I feel will happen. When Triple Whale is doing that, so it's already reality that we can start to rely on the data coming from Triple Whale and the reporting coming from that platform. That's the fascinating future ahead of us.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think you will have to just at least potentially be a senior strategist if you want to stay in the niche.
And at the same time, like, it's going to be possible for everyone basically to experiment more, to creative ideas, hooks, landing pages, interactive solutions, go and try to think about engagement, what the users truly need, and go and build more personalized experiences for the users, because there will be the same resources that today we spend on data, dashboards, all that. It is going to be possible to shift these resources to more work and more ideas and more directions that an agency or experts cover, especially when you combine it with the new batch of AI solutions. I think it's going to be crazy interesting.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but still, on the other hand, there's still a totally different direction. For example, Rory Sutherland is going, so that just doing things that are not necessarily logical, but may work, and figuring out that stuff. And I think it still be needed. Yesterday, I looked at some Reddit thread about the future of agencies, and I think creativity will still be needed for sure. But yeah, it's hard to say. Everything changes so quickly, but there still need to be creative people in the agencies that can think outside the box, but also people that can just connect the dots that are far away normally. I don't think AI will be really ready to do it all, at least not soon, because in 20 years...
I absolutely agree. I agree that it's going to take some time for sure, but at the same time, you still need someone responsible for growth, for marketing, for scaling, and then so on. And you need someone that will bring ideas, that will be creative, as you said, that will connect the dots and go outside of the box and try to come up with something that is outside of the scope of what company is doing at the moment. And for that, you need AIs, but you also need human in the loop doing all that. Maybe less people will be needed, but for sure humans will be still needed, in my opinion, especially since you have to also present it and communicate the ideas and take responsibility for the results. Okay, thank you, Pavel, for the Trivial Whale review and update on agents. See you in the next call. Bye.